bound with concave flow. What a hard event H. Love except no given.
What happened to Dr. Waterman? Only this man, last to see him alive, knows. Equinox. The invisible barrier between good and evil. The invisible barrier between light and the forces of darkness. The supernatural before your very eyes as 4 teenage boys and girls fight a devil cult for their sanity, for their lives, for their eternal souls. Equinox, a story that defies logic, confounds belief. Dr. Waterman, wait! Wait!
I can't believe it. It was just a fall.
What is the secret of the 1,000-year-old book? What are the unspeakable horrors conjured by the forces of evil? What is the fiendish power of the ring that enslaves and destroys? What is the one symbol that can hold at bay the hosts of hell unleashed on earth? Equinox, proving again that there is more in heaven and on earth than is dreamt of in our philosophy. Equinox! Equinox! Begins where Rosemary's Baby left off.
Where Rosemary's Baby left off?
They had me up to there. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's good. Like, okay.
That really took it in a strange direction.
Did Anton LaVey help with this?
Hopefully. We wouldn't want anything incorrect getting out there, you know.
No, of course not. I'm going to say it now. I'll say it again next week. Equinox, Evil Dead, same movie. There's a lot that Evil Dead took from Equinox. It does not have as many dinosaurs. But, you know, such is life. How about that Count Dracula? And his great love, which Tim says is the nipple.
Which that is the great love of Dracula. If we didn't give you that spoiler alert beforehand, now you know.
Yeah, there are a lot of naked ladies in this. What is Dracula's plan? Does she love Dracula? Does she not? There's a lot of questions that I have at the end of this bill because she's like, "Come back," and you're the one that said you wouldn't become a vampire with him. Like, what did you expect him to do? Like, Karen, first off, Karen, you flighty bitch. What is wrong with you? Like Dracula's given up a lot for you. He just burned his other brides, you know?
But, you know, he was asking a lot of her, and plus he fucking kept her prisoner.
Yeah, we talked. Yeah, good.
He's going to stick a knife in her neck and drink blood from her neck, and then let these vampire chicks feed off of her. And then he's going to say, okay, you have to still love me, and now I'm going to keep you prisoner. Now you'll be my prisoner until I do what I want with you. That's the wrong attitude.
That other poor girl was in love with him too, but he's like, he was like, well, you've been with other men, and so I can't be with you. He has very antiquated notions of sex, Madonna whore complex, and Dracula, and also Dracula has a whole skeletal bride that he's trying to bring back. And then once he falls in love with Karen, he's like, let's just throw her in the water. Dracula, what is your plan?
Yeah, that was the weirdest thing. Like, they made this ceremony out of carrying her coffin, and all they did was throw it in the water. Like, where was it? Was it just going to float around down there, or wouldn't it leave the premises eventually and float downriver?
There's a lot. This plan is ridiculous. And then finally he goes all incel and he's like, I'm just, you know what? If you don't want to be with me, I'm just going to kill myself. And she's like, is this a threat? And it's a promise. And
it's a classic narcissist moment.
It is. And he's like, well, I guess I'll follow through. And he does. And she's like, come back. You caused this, Karen.
Yeah, and really, let's be honest, it doesn't mean anything to Dracula. Someone is going to pull that stake out one day. Dracula will be right back to where he was before. She might even be dead by that point. So
I like that he even said, he's like, this is the first time that love has killed Dracula. And at no point did she say, oh, Dracula's died before. Yeah, a whole bunch of times.
Yeah, I had so many questions about the rules while I was watching this.
The day for night made me wonder, is Dracula a daywalker? No, because the other brides get burned up. Like he's like, I'm going to send you back to your old bodies. And then he just burns them up.
Sorry, did you think that meant you were going to become human again?
Yeah, I meant ashes to ashes. Womp womp. And then that's what Dracula does. Because he's Catholic. I don't know if he is or not. I'm just saying.
Dracula ruins lives. I've come right out and said it.
Yeah. Dracula ruins everybody's lives. And at the end, Karen walks into the woods by herself. She's going to get eaten by a wolf.
Yeah. I mean, she was, who knows how far they were from civilization. No one wants to live near a Dracula house, okay?
Also, Dracula gets his ass kicked a whole bunch of times in this movie.
That's another thing I want to ask the rules. Like, what was going on there? They acted like Dracula was not a vampire and that he wasn't Dracula, and he had this alternate identity as this doctor.
Yeah.
But he was out during the day, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And like, why would Dracula need to fight any other vampire? He's the king of the vampires. So the guy with the weird eyes.
The other vampires just to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Also, as someone that's been putting in nails in the basement, I had to get a special gun that shoots nails to go into the concrete block, right? He stakes her and she gets stuck in the stake goes through her. It's a wooden stake and into the concrete wall, and she stays there. Dracula, come help me with my basement, because it's hard to get nails into the concrete. I guess I need that super Dracula power.
Sam, don't sell your soul for that power.
No, I've learned my lesson from this, because Dracula will ruin my life.
Yeah. Don't believe whatever shit he's selling you. Don't do it. It's going to sound good, but when you actually see what you get, you're going to be like, oh.
I've never seen it. No, I know. Sorry, I mean to cut you off.
Now I'm a prisoner.
Yeah. Now you're cutting my wrist
and
pouring it all over your daughter's skeleton. What? Also, I've never seen a Dracula movie where Dracula's brides just get off by biting each other. But that was for the foreign investors, and by that I mean me. So yeah, well done, Dracula.
Those foreign investor scenes were of a different quality than the rest of the movie. Did you notice that?
I sure did, yeah.
So this was one of those cuts where they, spliced in some missing footage that probably came from a German videotape or something like that.
I like when the one girl Dracula finds in bed is topless of all these women. And then when he finds another one, Dracula's like, you know what? Let's whip her and drink out of her back.
Into shape.
Yeah. Dracula's kinky in this. He also puts on the idea that he's like a kindly man. Also, what is that paste that he made? That special mercurochrome or whatever he had, iodine. Whatever happened to iodine? I used to put it on cuts all the time. My skin would be dyed red by the end
I was
of the summer.
just talking about that with somebody the other day. Mercurochrome.
Yeah.
Like your grandparents gave that to you when you scraped your knee.
Your knee would be all different colors because it was like dyed. But yeah, he put it on everybody, and then he wrapped up Karen's head with that headdress. I don't know.
Vince Cornelia says this never would have happened to Count Yorga or Corda. But I remember them doing stupid shit too, Vince. Like that thing with the leeches that Corda does. Like, okay, someone throws leeches on him and it destroys him. So why would you keep a bowl of leeches there right in your lair? I question that decision.
The life of a vampire is very strange. I also like that every time they showed the full moon, we got a music cue. Every single time. It's amazing. And how
about
go ahead.
How about Dracula's rapid decomposition that took like 5 minutes of cutting back and forth to the sun? Yeah, we get it.
Most times when you break up with a guy, he just like kind of drives you nuts and stalks you a little bit afterwards. Not Karen. Boyfriend turns into a skeleton. But like you said, you could just pour a little bit of blood on him. He'll be fine. We've already proved that. This movie already proved that.
Right. He's going to be back and she isn't. This probably ruined her life.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the rest of her life if she told anybody this, they'd lock her in an asylum, and she's going to have to live the rest of her life knowing that vampires are real and one might attack her at any given moment.
They're like, whatever happened to those 3 other girls you went to college with? And she just looks off into the distance, and it just makes it awkward, and people walk away, and that she doesn't finish the conversation.
We stayed the night in a Dracula house, and Dracula killed us.
Yeah. He killed all of us, and he wanted to marry me, and I said no, so he killed himself. Oh, okay. One of my friends
You
tried
know,
to bite my neck, and he staked her on the steps.
just be like, I do not want to talk about it.
He's like, I also threw he also threw a man out a window while I watched, and we all went to sleep. We had a beautiful walk in the garden, though, and that was nice. That part was nice.
Oh, I thought that was beautiful.
Yeah.
That lovely day for night sequence.
Yeah. That was the nice part. That's the nice side of Dracula. Also, like, there's a lot of voiceovers where nobody's talking in this. So I really want to get the Vinegar Syndrome one that has the Spanish one and figure out what really is going on. Like, what how much was edited in the US one? Right, let's just throw it together. But you know what? I still loved it. I don't care. I loved it. It's ridiculous.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
I adore this movie.
I like that. I like when the one vampire, like shouldn't vampires be super strong, right? Like whenever they're fighting that farmer and they're
Sometimes not.
yeah, and like so she has to go off fascination and kill her with a sickle.
You loved that part.
I did because I love fascination. I watched that same scene of Vigilante with the sickle a million times, and I go, oh, what gorgeous film that is. But yeah. But
Yeah, that's what's wrong with Dracula. Dracula is totally a narcissist, and he thinks he's the most important person in the room just
Yeah.
because he's Dracula. I mean, it's not about her. It's all about his situation and how he needs somebody for this ritual that he wants to do to bring back his daughter, which, come on. And that's just creepy Dracula. Get over it. And and then he has to bring her back here and like he has to make her fall in love with him. What the fuck is that? Like you have to have, and it has to be a natural way of falling. None of this unnatural falling in love shit. Like it has to just happen.
That's such a Nashyism because like
Yeah.
like the werewolf always has to be killed by the woman he loves, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
but why? Like, are these monsters ruining lives? Is that what you're telling us?
Blood dripping out of the neck into a cup.
Again,
Um,
2 movies in a row. That's our
There-
theme this season.
the requirement of the woman falling in love with him, and sometimes she has to even be a virgin.
Yeah.
But
Usually
there's
he can sleep with as many women as he wants.
yes.
But you did get to see his full ass. So I mean, there is that.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I was loving that part. I was like, I totally forgot there was this total shot of his ass.
Yeah. He's in a lot better shape in this movie than I thought he would be. I thought he'd be a little more round. But he in this one at least. Looking good.
What if it wasn't him? I wonder if it wasn't him.
Stun ass.
It was him. I'm telling myself. It was him.
Just
It was
believe
him.
it.
It was
Believe
him.
that it was him. There's something for everybody in this movie. You got some Euro girls and you got Paul Naschy's ass. And you got and there's whipping and there's every Dracula is like that, right? Because Dracula's always like, oh, I'm waiting for my bride to be reincarnated. And in other Dracula movies. Well,
A little bit of incest going on too. There's hints of incest with him wanting to resurrect his daughter.
Yeah.
Not his wife, it's his daughter.
Yeah, I thought it was his wife for the longest time. Like, no, it's his daughter. And and it's like the girl who's been any girls in these movies that are the reincarnation of his one true love. They're like, yeah, I don't want anything to do with this. You know what I mean? Like, first off, like in the original Dracula story, like he kills Mina Harker's best friend. Do you know what I mean? Like And she's like, why would I want to be with you after that? But who knows? I do like in Bram Stoker's Dracula where Mina goes to see her friend because she thinks he's in the garden, and Dracula's like in wolf form, just raw dogging her on a
I know.
tombstone. I remember that at the theater. The whole theater gasped at once, and I was like, "That's awesome! Like they did it. He did it. Oh, Francis Ford Coppola, you did it.
Yeah, that was really shocking.
Yeah, it's cool. It is the man himself, as they say.
I do like that movie.
I do too. I think I haven't watched it. Well, I think I need to go back and watch it again. But I saw it in the theater twice the first day, and both times loved it. So big
I only
fan.
saw it once. Didn't
Oh.
it come out at Halloween?
Yeah,
Did it?
I think so. Yeah, right around there. I was dating a girl that really liked what's his name, the man himself.
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves. Yeah, so it was like a whole movie of like her being a Keanu Reeves, and she would get really jealous if I ever mentioned I found anyone attractive. So it was like a whole movie of me trying to act like Winona Ryder's not attractive. Oh, no, not at all. Yeah.
Keanu lost a couple of wallets on that set. Don't know where they ended up.
Interesting. Well, I like it. I think it's but I you know what? I like this what we watched tonight. I like both these movies, and throughout I kind of put myself in the mindset of what if I had been snookered by the later ads for Walk of the Dead and Cemetery Girls for this. And this is what drew me in, and I would be like baffled by the movies that I was watching.
Yeah. It was just kind of like I would not have liked this if I had seen it when I was a kid because it just isn't like a Dracula movie. Although I have to say, probably like the last 20 minutes have a lot of Dracula in it. It's basically like, some really great stuff like Paul Naschy in the full Dracula outfit getting into bed with that cape on.
I've never gotten and I said his condom also had a cape on it too. So.
I mean, that's some good shit. Yeah, I
Yeah.
got to admit. And but it could have been a little bit faster paced at the end. It got this weird funereal pace at the end with these long sort of like pans over the skyline and the sun like shining through. There was a lot of that stuff.
I like the Frank's comment that there was a slide whistle when they jump up on the roof. When they did the little leap in slow motion onto the roof.
Oh, that was amazing. It was kind of like Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
She did that kind of shit too.
So
hey, Philip mentioned that Jennifer Upton and AC Nicholas are going to be on the podcast. In August.
Black Sabbath.
I know, right?
I'm looking forward to that already. So yeah, I think this was a successful one. I love Paul Naschy. I could watch his movies all the time, and I see there's some people talking about Frank Langella Dracula. The first Dracula I was ever afraid of because my mom talked about him in a glowing way. I remember my parents having it. Speaking of arguing about actors you have a crush on, my mom was talking about him too much, and my dad got really jealous. And he's like, "He's not that good looking." And my mom's like, "Yeah, well, Margot Kidder doesn't look good either." And I was at that point, even as a kid, I was like, "Mom's wrong. Mom is so wrong."
She was very wrong.
Yeah, she was super wrong.
Margot Kidder was beautiful.
Oh my God, Black Christmas, Margot Kidder, the best. Oh, see, yeah, we made it through 2 Spanish movies, and I say muy bien is what I say to both of these movies. Un películas espectacular.
I love the Frank Langella Dracula.
I've never seen it because I'm afraid of it and that's who my mom's gonna run away with.
Oh, you really haven't seen it? Oh,
no,
wow!
I haven't seen it. I should watch it, huh?
It's really good. The sets are amazing, and the cinematography. I think John Badham directed it. I think it was after Saturday Night Fever that was his next movie.
That's the year of vampire movies, because didn't Love at First Bite came out the same year, and then 2 years later was the year of werewolf movies.
Yeah. Well, there was
So,
also Nosferatu the Vampire in
mhm.
'79 and
Cliffhangers.
Salem's Lot on TV.
Mhm.
That was why it went to TV, was
Yeah.
because there were so many Dracula movies coming out in theaters.
Yeah. It was a big year for it, though. Frank Langella was a good-looking Dracula, though. I think he was, an attractive Dracula.
He was ridiculous looking. He had that blow-dried
Oh, yeah,
hair. He's
oif.
supposed to be Dracula.
Yeah. He's,
You
"I've
know,
been
come
laying in my
on.
coffin." How about, Paul Naschy's coffin closed for him? He had, like, a
Oh, that
little
was deluxe.
Yeah, he's like, "You know what? A lot of vampires don't know how to do this, and I have figured it out." He just laid in. He even had a little symbol on his coffin. It had his name on it, so he knew which one was his.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was very important because, you know, when the vampire hunter comes,
Yeah.
you want to label your grave so that
Yeah.
you can be sure that they find you.
Yeah. There were no vampire hunters in this. There was no, Van Helsing to save anybody.
Yeah, nobody was going to stop him from doing this. That's what I kept thinking the whole time during that climax that took 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, there's nobody that's going to come to the red. There is no hero that's going to come rushing in to save her. It was Dracula himself
Yeah.
who saved her. He changed his mind.
He's like, "Yeah, I really like Joy Division." And then he stabbed himself in the chest. Very, very, like, oh, that was my favorite hair whip of the movie, Bill. Whenever the one girl Courtney Love vampire finally became a vampire, and she took her hair to the side so she didn't get blood in it
Yeah,
when she drank it. That was awesome. It shows that even when you're undead and have bloodlust, you still are concerned about your looks.
you're
And that's
thinking about your hair. Yeah.
how about that scene where Dracula when he got into bed with the cape and he was making out with her, and they cut to the mirror, and all of a sudden she's just in bed by herself.
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome. It This is a really gross question, but I'm going to ask it, Bill. If they were having sex in the mirror, would we see her body being moved around entity style? Do you know what I mean? Like
We certainly would.
we would, wouldn't we? We'd see gaping and whatnot, and be like, "What is going on?" Like, "Oh, she's having sex with the Dracula."
Gaping?
Yeah, I don't, because he's entering her. I don't know.
What kind of gaping?
I don't know. He's anal gaping. He's a freaky Dracula. He's gonna whip you.
You
Then
don't know what kind of shit he's into.
no, he's had thousands of years to get kinks that you don't understand. You know what I mean? Like he's like we talked about it before. He invented felching. Dracula's been around. He's done it. He's done it all.
Well, there was some explanation. There were some rules given about how Dracula was going to be, he was going to die and be resurrected. And each time he was resurrected, he was more perverse than he
Oh,
was before.
ooh,
So maybe that's their idea of the ultimate perversion is whipping.
yeah. Maybe like in that time, I was like, ooh, sex. It's ooh, naughty, whipping. And like today, like maybe Dracula's died a few more times. So I think he's into some other stuff by this point. You'd think. Dracula's like, "I invented MILF porn. You guys don't know that I did that. That was me." And he's like, "All those incest movies now that you get on Pornhub, it's kind of creepy." Yeah, that was me too. Like Dracula, you cad.
Dracula is a cad.
Yeah, he's all
He
about
just
himself.
does not care.
He does not care. He only cares. He's like, "You know what? I know your best friend loves me, but I've turned her into a vampire. I only care about you. And I used to care about my daughter. I threw her in a lake. Be with me forever." And she's like, she pulled out a cross on him in one scene. And then he was like, "Why don't you put that down?" And then she just kissed him. Crazy. Also, he just dropped that candelabra when he was making out with the redhead and just threw it on the ground, like,
He could have caught her nightgown on
right?
fire.
You don't have you don't have you don't have carpets, Dracula. It's that castle's drafty. You would think he'd have carpets in some room. And he's like, "Nope, I just throw the
No.
candelabra."
He was still supposed to be human at that point. So
Oh,
we weren't supposed to be able to see some kind of miraculous control over the elements that he would suddenly have to stop fire from spreading.
Mike said that Dracula invented dipping strawberries in chocolate and mink blindfolds in the 80s. What was he, like an Andrew Blake movie? Or I'm trying to think of another. He's like, Dracula invented Cinemax After Dark. I don't know if you guys know that. He was Joe D'Amato. That was one of his many, Joe D'Amato's many names is Vlad Tepes, aka Count Dracula.
Bob Dracula Guccione Jr.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, you think Caligula's bad, it's all Dracula's fault. Oh, we got two good movies coming up next week, Bill. Planet of the Dinosaurs is a crowd pleaser, and we got Equinox. So lots of claymation next week.
Unbelievable. This is low budget stop motion horror next weekend, and you're gonna love it.
I can't wait.
I'm sure you've all seen this already and probably hate it, but we're gonna make you watch it anyway.
You watch it again, you'll enjoy it.
I love that movie, Planet of Dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the one I love, the one that comes out of the water together, and the spider.
You know what movie is not streaming? Valley of the Gwangi. I can't find it anywhere.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because
I only saw that once a long time ago.
I found a whole list that I've been putting together of horror westerns, which there aren't that many, and I think there should be more of. So I'm working on putting some of those up pretty soon. Or supernatural or science fiction-y westerns. I always like the idea of Valley of the Gwangi because it's like, oh, they're going to lasso a T-Rex.
Horror westerns.
Yeah,
that's got to be such a limited genre.
Oh yeah, it is. There aren't that many. So
well, like what era are we talking? Like ever?
Yeah. There's obviously Billy the Kid versus Dracula, and Jesse James meets Frankenstein's daughter. What? And it depends. Do you consider some movies westerns? Like some people consider Near Dark a western. I don't think it is. But who knows?
You really don't think it's a western?
It has western elements, but I don't think of it as like a cowboy movie. I don't know.
I guess so. Yeah, you're right.
Versus like High Plains Drifter has supernatural elements and it's a western. You know what I mean? Because he could be dead. So yeah, I'm not sure. Chris says Near Dark is though, so I'll think through it.
Equinox is just genius.
I know. I love seeing that giant Beastman looking guy swipe a guy aside.
Did you just say Beastman?
I did. He's in Japan,
I do know. I've been following his Instagram.
Yeah. So I just talked to him I talked to him the other day. He's having a good time.
Get out. Really?
Yeah. He's been sending me stuff from over there. He's like, yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, Eyes of Fire is kind of close to a western. Yeah. Let me see. I have a list here that my phone's in the other room. Suffice to say, you'll see a letterbox list of horror westerns soon enough. There's a couple. There's definitely a few Italian ones. Yeah. I like the idea. I like the infusion of those two things. So I guess El Topo could be a horror western. Yeah, it feels like it. So hey, you want to see what came in the mail, Bill?
Yeah.
This is from Eureka, and they're actually sending me just the discs. It's pretty cool. We have the double Crossers, which is a Shaw Brothers movie. And then from the great folks at 88 Films, we have In the Line of Duty 3, which is really good. And In the Line of Duty 4. Really love the artwork. Really nice art. That's what I got in this week. So I'm really excited. The back picture of In the Line of Duty, like, look at that shot. And, this is a Hong Kong movie, so someone really just riding a motorcycle and just kicking people in the chest. So my kind of movie. So that's what
Did the guy getting kicked have a clown outfit on? I couldn't really tell.
No, it looks like that would be awesome, right? He has a helmet that looks vaguely clown-like. And this week on the site, CBS late movie all week again. And also I'm doing the Something Weird challenge. So all Doris Wishman movies this week, Bill. So
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. It's pretty fun.
What have you been talking or watching? You haven't written it yet, have you?
I've written a few. I got, let me get my list up here. I have Nude on the Moon, A Night to Dismember, Come With Me, and then I'm going to be doing this week The Amazing Transplant, uh, Double Agent 73, Deadly
Oh, I
Weapon.
love that one.
I know you do. The Immoral 3, Let Me Die a Woman, and Satan Was a Lady. Those will all be, hopefully, I'll get to all those this week. And then next week is all golden oldies of something weird. And I just watched The Invisible Agent, which I did not realize is a Shadow adaptation. It was a pilot for a Shadow TV series. So super excited to talk about that one too.
Have you ever been to a Feel-O-Rama?
I've never been to a Feel-O-Rama.
I have. It's a gas.
Mm.
This was Volcano. I put this up here because I wanted to ask you what you knew about this movie. This ad is from like 1975,
Mm-mm.
right around the time of Earthquake.
Yeah, this is like in the disaster exploitation era.
Yeah, like Earthquake, then Tidal Wave, now Volcano.
Wow. I've never seen Volcano. I got to get on it.
Feel-O-Rama surrounds you with the sensation of a lifetime in Cinerama. So I'm assuming that was a knockoff Sense-Around. It's gotta be.
I think it's in Kentucky Fried Movie. There's the scene where the guy goes to the theater and there's an usher that sits behind you for Feel-O-Rama. And he like shakes you in different parts. And they go, our next feature is Deep Throat. And the guy gets out and runs out of the theater.
Well, anyway, that's Volcano. What else do I have here? Delinquent Schoolgirls. This was obviously it's got to be one of those German schoolgirl films, but
Schoolgirl Report, yeah.
Maybe I looked it up and it wasn't. This might have been one of the ones that fooled me because I thought I knew what it was.
Can I ask you a question?
Oh, sure.
Should a schoolgirl tell?
Yeah, she should.
She should. Yeah.
She should be talking loud and clear. There was never such a pair of sisters. There's Margot Kidder. We were just talking about how beautiful she is.
I love Sisters so much. I think it's a great movie.
Were they doing it for themselves?
Sisters are doing it for themselves. You're right. This is the most genuinely frightening film since Hitchcock's Psycho. I love ads that relate or talk shit on Psycho.
Yeah, it's really a bold claim to make.
Yeah. Frankly, this Argento boy's worrying me. Oh.
Here's a nice variation of that classic Orgy of the Living Dead. Now it's just an avalanche.
Oh, wow. Is that the bat from where's that bat from? Is he from Schizo?
I'm not sure where that bat's from. At first I thought it was the one from Chosen Survivors.
Oh,
but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not. It's just similar. So
well, on the top there, Tidal Wave, the Japanese movie is playing.
Yeah, speaking of
Sinking of Japan, yeah. Wow. And Walking Tall, part 2. Speaking of Joe Don Baker, I said Thomas brought up Shadow Chikara, aka Curse of Demon Mountain.
Walking even taller.
Yeah. Keep walking. I saw this on the site this week in this ad.
Now, who on earth would want to harass poor Susie Kendall?
You know who brought this to you?
I think it was the people that brought you Dr. Zhivago.
Yeah.
Carlo Ponti?
Carlo Ponti, yeah. First, he brought you Dr. Zhivago. Now, Torso. Wow.
See it in 70 millimeter in a theater near you.
That is amazing. We dare you to keep your eyes open to a Torso. Is that telling you it's boring?
Yeah, it could be a coded message, honestly. That could mean anything.
Yeah.
Something notable about this is the timing. Like, this was before Torso and Texas Chainsaw Massacre became a common double feature.
Yeah.
Like they were still playing with different B features, and then for a couple of years they were always together.
They seem like an odd couple, but they made it work.
Yeah, they were, they were going to all the Hollywood parties. They were a couple, but sometimes there'd be someone else in the hot tub with them. But usually it was the two of them.
Sometimes they put Eyeball in the tub together.
Yeah, then it just all went to shit. Like around 1981.
Yeah, Carlo Ponte said, "I wash my hands of this."
Too much blow. You know how that is.
Oh, don't I ever? Oh, look at this.
Yeah, look
This is
at
another movie I think about a lot, Bill. I think about Beyond the Door. Beyond the Door, by the way, played the CBS late movie, which is insane. That like a major network was like, "Look, you know what? What are we playing at 11:30? Beyond the Door." And yes, that's how it should be.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the first place I saw Beyond the Door. Was
Oh.
the CBS late movie.
That's a great place to see it. If you
Because
can
it
make
had
it
such
through.
scary ads. Like,
Oh, yeah. This whole look is great. Wow. It's the final week though, Bill. You'll never see it again.
Yeah, hurry. See, it's gone already.
Oh. An RV movie.
A beautiful RV movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think their RV had a shower with a tub.
Oh. Man.
I look at camper videos all the time, and I always get excited when I see one that actually has a tub. And you think, wow, like they had a fucking tub in their camper. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because you would have to connect to like the campground water in order to make something like that work. Like, why would you carry around that much water in your water tank and then take a bath with it? I mean, that's like really wasteful.
Did it have a water bed too? Because that really feels like something very 70s.
I've never seen one with a water bed.
Let me know when you do. Could you imagine laying in the waterbed while the RV was moving? You would probably throw up everywhere.
I could have seen something like that in a tricked out van, but not an RV.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It's weird that they didn't trick out RVs like they tricked out vans because they would have more space to trick. You know?
Mm-hmm.
But
well, I'm sure they're out there.
Yeah. Let me look into this.
This is a really strange ad for the Race with the Devil, by the way.
Yeah.
You normally didn't see this one with the white eyes.
Yeah. It never
Or the
really felt like
one.
it was sold like a horror movie as much as it like an action movie.
Yeah, it was like a lot of, that RV action was on the other ad version.
Look at this.
This is a really weird triple feature.
Yeah. When is this from? Like 78, 79?
This is from 75.
Okay.
All these ads are from 1975.
2000 Maniac would have been like 5 or 6 years old already.
Yeah. They did this one, and they also did Blood Feast, which I'm also going to show you. But both of the lineups had really strange B features with them, like this one.
Yeah.
Just pulled from everywhere. Like, obviously, that's a retitling of.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, you didn't see that title very often. Mm-hmm. That was, an actual alternate title that they used in a couple territories. I think the UK it showed under that title. Anyway, we need to do that movie on the show too, don't we?
Yeah, we do. I think Jen would love showing it because I know she loves snake and animal attack movies, so maybe we should bring that up to her.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, see, here's the other one.
Oh. Blood and Lace and Blood Feast?
Yeah, it's crazy. And Blood Fiend, which is that Christopher Lee movie. What's the other title? Oh, Theater of Death.
Yeah. Wow. That is amazing. When is this? 75 still, you said?
Yeah.
This was like Blood Feast would have been, what, 12 years old at this point?
Mm-hmm. This was like the week after that other one with 2000 Maniacs.
I was reading an interview with Herschel Gordon Lewis today, and he used to have a theater in Chicago that played his movies, and they would actually do uh, like gore effects on stage. They would like saw a woman in half and do some of the stuff in the movies, and then go back and show another movie. Like, could you imagine? Like, that would be amazing.
Oh, okay, so we're done.
Some feel-a-rama.
We've had enough feel-a-rama for tonight.
Yeah. Wow. I am super jazzed for next week, though. I love Equinox, and it's a movie I should watch more often, so I'm ready to watch it again. So,
Yeah, it's been a while since I saw it. I think the last time I saw it was at the Monsterama,
oh, wow.
of
I
all
missed that year
places.
that it played, I think. I don't remember if I saw it.
I don't think you were there.
Mm-mm. It's probably before I started going, yeah.
It's
Well,
hard to believe there was a time before you started going, but I guess there
yeah.
was.
Yeah. What was wrong with me?
You were busy, you had a life.
That's overrated.
Oh, it sure is.
Yeah.
So, what's been at the movies lately that you've seen that you'd care to comment on?
Oh, geez. I went and saw Long Legs this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't like it. I did. I like parts of it. Okay, it's like it's a weird movie because like the ad campaign, it actually succeeds on its ad campaign. Like we always talk about we wish we had more cool ad campaigns. The ads for it were great. They were
Yeah.
just like a 911 call with the father saying his daughter wasn't his daughter anymore and he had to kill her. That's all they showed. They didn't tell you who was in it. They had a phone number that you could call up and hear Nicolas Cage's character, and he would leave messages for you. Like that was cool. Like so, I like totally bought into the hype as always. You know what I mean? And got excited about it. And the movie itself is like they kept saying, "Oh, it's th- this this decade's Silence of the Lambs." It's like, well, Silence of the Lambs is a really well made movie. You know what I mean? And it all makes sense. And like it's this movie, like spoiler if you want to see it, right? But imagine if you went the whole way through Silence of the Lambs, and in the last 20 minutes they explained that it was all supernatural, and like that's why these things were happening. It's like, oh, I thought we were watching a procedural, and it was like such a weird narrative shift. And like it's one of those movies where Jen put a review on the site today about it, and it's very much like, wouldn't it be cool if that's kind of what this whole movie's like? It's like, wouldn't it be cool if this guy had a code like Zodiac, and then it doesn't have anything to do with the movie? Wouldn't it be cool if this Satan worshiper played by Nicolas Cage, Long Legs, what if he made dolls of girls and put metal brains in them that had black magic powers that took over families? And you're like, okay, and, do you know what I mean? Like, and it's just like as things happen, you're like, but there's really weird things like where this girl is supposed to be like psychic and she's an FBI agent, but she can't even look anyone in the eye. And it's like, and also she's one of the few survivors of Long Legs, and her mother reported him trying to kidnap her at one point. Well, it's like, why would they ever put her on the case? You know what I mean? Like, why would they
Sure.
put
You
such a
can't do
brittle
that when
person?
you have a personal connection to it.
Yeah, and it just didn't. Other people have loved it. People have talked about it being like the greatest movie of the year, and maybe it is to those people. But to me, it was just like, I think the problem was, like I said, I saw it at an Alamo Draft House, and they put a trailer for Happy Birthday to Me, which is a movie that I love, and they put a trailer for Brotherhood of Satan uh, before it, and we love that movie too, and I got really jazzed, and like, but it's like one of the other things in the movie is like the killer loves T-Rex, and it's like if you go to the website, it's one of those movies like where they have like a whole website full of like viral stuff, and like all the best ideas are on the website and in the advertising, like, but like it looks, yeah, Steve, it looks nice. The cinematography is good. I really like the long shots of it, but it's like it ultimately is just like a pretty package that doesn't add up to anything. And like again, I felt like got hyped up about another movie, and I was begging Becca, I'm like, "Can we just please go see Maxine?" She would not go see Maxine, so she's like, and I know it'd be a whole movie of her yelling at me because it's smutty, and so Yeah, that was my Alamo. The Alamo Draft House, on the other hand, awesome. They had a chandelier shaped like the Death Star, and the whole inside of the lobby of the one in Omaha looks like Star Wars. And, you know, it's awesome.
Maxine is almost totally unsmutty.
I want it to
It's
be Angel. You know what I mean? I
it's
want it.
hard to believe,
Yeah,
but it's actually kind of. I mean, there's some gore in it, but it's not totally obscene.
there's a 4K of Body Double coming out. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
And there's a poster of Holly Body in it, like sideways smoking. And I looked at it. I'm like, that's who I married. Like it literally has Becca's haircut. And I was like, this totally explains to me why I'm married. Because like 12-year-old me saw her in that movie, and I was like, well, that's whatever that is. It imprinted on me. So, but I'm probably gonna get that because I love that movie, and it was a movie that people hated when it came out, like vehemently hated, and I think it's way better. And I love movies that start with a scare of another movie, like where you think that vampire movie is real. Like I think that that's a really cool way into the film. So yeah,
I
um,
dig that too. I love that house. I'm really
oh yeah,
into the house in
oh
Body
yeah,
Double,
I love
and
the
there's
thing.
sort of like a reference to that in Maxine
Oh, of course,
too. It's
yeah.
it's like that's what it is. It's a bunch of like references to other movies, and that's more fun than the actual movie itself. I don't know. It had like I really don't think any of the movies have been great, but they're good. I liked X. I thought that was okay, most
Mm-hmm.
of it, and I thought Pearl was okay, most of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same way I feel about Maxine. Like
Mm-hmm.
most of it's good, but in the end, it just was not all that exciting. Like especially the way the movie ends,
Mm-hmm.
just was sort of unsatisfying. Just
I
my take.
Yeah, I should have just went. Purple Rain was playing because they had the 1984 movies at Alamo, and I was like, maybe that's what we should have saw. You know what I mean? Or like something fun like that. But you know what? It's fine. It was a good experience. The movie going experience was cool. I haven't been to
Yeah,
the
whatever.
movies in a while, so it's like, you know what? You got to go see them. And if that's what I always tell people. It's like people are like, should I see this movie? And I'm like, yeah, because even if you don't like it, it's going to help you judge what you do like. Speaking of movies, I'm excited about, Bill. I told you about it, but I got a screener of a slasher that people will be excited about. Mutilator 2. I just got it, so it'll be on the site in a couple weeks. I have an embargo till August, but I'll be watching it this week. So I'm very excited. And it's not called Fall Break 2, which would have been too much excitement for me. But yeah, I'm really jazzed about it. So, but I'm going to the movies Thursday too. I'm going to see Deadpool because that'll be fun. And trying to get out for more movies out. Yeah, more out to see more instead of because it's so weird. It's so weird today. Like, what do you call it? Furiosa's already out on streaming. Like on for you can purchase it to watch, and it's like movies have like within 4 weeks sometimes a movie that was in the theater is already out, and it seems really weird to me. Like I'm still of that age. Like I would rather see in the theater, and I know it's a pain in the ass to go to a theater, and sometimes you have a bad theater experience. But I don't know. Isn't that it? Just feels better to me than just watching stuff on TV.
Well, even if I mean, you can't like everything, and you're going to go see movies that you don't like, but
Yeah,
everything can't be made to your liking. Like, of course, you're going to go, and there'll be movies you'll be like, it's not good, but you went and you saw it, you know. And I've come back to movies and thought they were brilliant
hmm
later in life. So maybe it's just me that didn't get in. Like maybe it was, something that went over my head, but it won't now.
they have a deal. This Alamo at least had a deal where it's 25 a month, and you get to go to a movie a day for $25. You get like a month pass, and I'm like, wow, that's an awesome deal. Even if you only went to 2 or 3 movies, you'd be paying for it. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
And plus, they do those weird Wednesday movies, and they do a ton of stuff. So I was like, wow, that's a really great idea. So hopefully, maybe the Hollywood when they open the new Hollywood in Dormont, uh, the what is it? row house in Dormont, which will be where the Hollywood used to be. Hopefully they'll work something out like that. But it's still, even still, like Conan's. Nobody tells you what's playing in Pittsburgh. Conan and the Barbarians playing tomorrow night at downtown.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
At the Harris?
yeah. It's playing with that Conan, the female Conan kind of remix movie that's been playing Film Fest. They're playing together as a double feature. I didn't find out till yesterday, and I'm like, yeah. But you know what? If I can't talk back into seeing Maxine, how am I going to talk her into seeing Conan, right? I'm like, we should go see Conan.
She wouldn't?
I don't think she'd have any interest in it. She'd just be like, yeah, like, yeah. Haven't you seen it a million times? She'd say, and I'd say, yeah. I don't know
Wait,
how I. Hmm?
they're showing Conan in what other movie?
A movie called Conan, spelled Connan. It's a movie about multiple versions of Conan through time that are mostly played by women. It's been playing film fests, and it looks pretty interesting.
Far out.
Yeah, so I have a screener of that too that I got to watch. I have like between work and going away last weekend, I'm backed up on movies. But isn't that a good thing? You know. Also, last night again, I watched Carnival of Souls again, and man, I love that movie. It's it feels like another. I know it's not a coastal movie. It has water in it, but I'm gonna say that that's another Messiah of Evil, Next Town Over kind of movie.
Oh, totally.
Yeah,
It's in the same universe.
especially with like the dead people dancing. You know what I mean? Like when they're all in that dance hall together and stuff. It feels
Sure.
kind of like it. I guess Herc Harvey was driving back to Kansas and from California after he made an industrial, and he on the way back he saw that amusement park, salt air is what it was called, and how it was all like dilapidated and the water was all dried away. And he said, "I want to see a scene where dead people come out of that ocean and start dancing." And so he told the guy that wrote the script, like, "Write this for me." And that's the only thing he told him he wanted in the movie. So it's pretty wild. But the other thing Joe Bob said I thought was really interesting was that so many people uh, that were successful at making independent movies, Robert Altman, Romero, Toby Hooper, um, Herc Harvey, like their advantage was in this time where they were all shooting industrials, education, and then education films. So they owned equipment, they knew how to edit, they know how to shoot. You know what I mean? So then when they went into features, like they were ahead of people. Plus, they weren't paying they knew how to get ends of film. They knew how to get stuff cheap. They know how to run and gun and shoot. And like anyone else, like it was really hard to make movies, independent movies back then because you had to pay for film, you had to pay for processing, you had to pay for editing, and you may not even have a distributor. So these guys were all kind of ahead. So I thought that was a really interesting way to think through it. But watching it again, and I usually try to watch Carnival Souls like once a year. It's so good. Like it's and definitely is an influence on Night of the Living Dead. I don't think it would be a different movie if without it. You know what I mean? I'm not saying they wouldn't have made Night of the Living Dead, but a lot of the look of it and stuff uh, is different. The other cool thing about it is like for as small as a movie it is, it's like an early. I hate elevated horror, but it's an early elevated horror movie if you think about it. It's more art than horror in a lot of scenes of it.
It's bizarre. I remember the first time I saw Carnival of Souls, and it was during the revival, or it was after the revival.
Hmm.
I missed the opportunity to go see that theatrically. I could just kick myself.
Yeah, it's
But
just.
it really kind of I couldn't believe how good it was.
Hmm.
It just seems like, oh, it's an old movie, and it's not going to be it's not going to be any good. It's not going to be relevant,
Yeah,
and
it's kind of
it
timeless
truly is.
if you think about it. It's like there's so much of it that like just everything works in it to me. Like I just love it. I love the scene. Becca even said like it's really frightening the scene where she's waiting for her landlady to bring her up coffee. Like she says, "I'll bring you up coffee and sandwiches." And when she's walking up to her room, and she's only like 5 feet away from the landlady, and just finished this conversation. The whole like hallway goes black, and the ghoul is like behind her. She just starts seeing him in more and more places, and it's like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
That's really frightening that there's somebody else in a place where you live and you can't find them. That's a truly terrifying moment. So yeah, I would put that in the world of Dead and Buried and Messiah, and of these just like strange towns where things get messed up for somebody.
What about Jacob's Ladder?
Yeah, I think so too. That's a movie that really disturbed me the first time I saw it. It's dismal, you know.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I remember like people rented it like a whole bunch of. I was dating a girl, and like all her friends would always rent horror movies together. Like, oh, let's get Jacob's Ladder. That movie's awesome. And I'm like watching it, and they're all like into it, and like giggling and stuff. And I'm like, this is not a funny movie. This movie is like very upsetting.
They had a strange sense of humor,
Yeah,
Sam.
they did. Though, like when they would rent movies, it was always like, and this is in the '90s. It would always be like what the latest stuff was. And, I'm going to a different town, like half an hour away, Newcastle versus Elwood, and I would be like, oh wow, they have totally different slashers here from the '80s that I can't. And I couldn't talk, couldn't talk him into being like, we should watch New York Ripper, and that would have gone over really well, huh?
Next weekend on the Drive-In Asylum double feature, we're going to watch two amazing low-budget claymation movies, Planet of Dinosaurs and Equinox.
Yeah, and Equinox is in the Criterion Collection, which is really cool.
It's a high-class production.
It is, and yeah, you'll see some parallels to other movies and see where maybe some inspiration happened, and as well as a ton of monsters in one movie. That's why I like it. It's got like a lot going on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This was like a monster kid's dream. Like,
Yeah.
wow, there's so many things in one movie.
Yeah, that's what I love about it. It's like, oh wow, and they all look really cool. I think that's why I really love all the Harryhausen movies. Like the mythology ones, because it'd be like, oh, you're getting skeletons and you're getting heartbeats. Do you know what I mean? Like you got
Mhm.
all this stuff in them.
What's going to be next?
Yeah. Yeah, so I love those. Arrow's putting out the Clash of the Titans and Wrath of the Titans on Blu-ray, but not the original, the 2000s Clash of the Titans. I'm like, I don't want that. I just watched.
Oh, they made another one?
They made one in the 2000s. They made two, Clash of the Titans and Wrath of the Titans. Who knew in 3D? I don't need that.
I saw the first one. I never saw the second one.
Is it any good?
The first one? It
Yeah.
was. I mean, no, it's not. It's just like you would expect. It's like Jurassic Park, Totally like, I don't know. The first one, I mean, the original, the 1981, it just has a storybook element to it.
Oh yeah.
And of course, everything's CGI and ultra realistic right now, and which is, I don't know, it's kind of boring. Like I don't want it to look like that. I want it to look fantastical. And the Harryhausen effects are just excellent in it.
I saw
as
that
usual.
in the same theater I saw everything. The one theater in my hometown.
Mhm.
We got Clash of the Titans, and I remember I was young and preteen, and I remember being like, this movie is great. You know what I mean? Like everybody's gonna love it. Nobody really cared. Everybody's like, oh, these effects are cool. Hey David, thanks for stopping in to subscribe.
Thank you.
But yeah, I love that movie. So I'll let you know how Wrath of the Titans is. And I'm good. Spoiler. Probably not gonna like it, but you know what? Sometimes you gotta watch. Like you said, you gotta watch it and see if you do. Maybe I'll love it. Maybe I'll think it's the greatest thing ever.
20 years from now, you're gonna love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Here, hanging out with us, watching movies on the Drive-In Asylum double feature. We'll see you then, huh? What else you gonna watch, huh? What you gonna watch now?
Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardians.
Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian.